At the start of the story, we see that Xianlan is a continent of immortal cultivation, where cultivators are the masters and mortals are destined to toil forever in the mercy of immortals. So mortals spend their whole lives searching for ways to cultivate immortality. And this is the story of the Xianlan continent. In the next scene, we see the boy's foot climbing the mountain. He is saying his mom told him to climb the mountain to cultivate immortality, and he can get good wife with that. But it's not that easy. No one wants to take him in their sect. And in the list of sect there is only one sect left, named Divine Immortal Sect. Upon reaching the location of the Divine Immortal Sect, the boy is confronted with a mere haystack hut. Frustrated, he hurls the sect's poster to the ground and exclaims, "Isn't this a fraud? I am leaving, it's a waste of time." Just as he decides to depart, two hands suddenly seize his legs, preventing his escape. Startled, the boy demands to know who this person is. The stranger introduces himself as Wang Feng, the esteemed sect master of the Divine Immortal Sect and the central character of our story. The narrative shifts back 3 days when Wang Feng was a mere comic artist, who tragically passed away due to overwork. Unbeknownst to him, his soul found itself in the cultivation world. Regaining consciousness, he found himself plummeting from the sky, wearing nothing but a rag. As he descended, he collided with a cultivator wielding a sword, sparking a question in his mind. "Is this the world of immortals? Dude, how could you lack manners even after cultivating?" In a sudden turn of events, a message appears before his eyes, declaring his arrival in the Xianlan continent. Another message follows, announcing that he has received the strongest sex system. Wang Feng cheers, believing it to be the standard fare for transmigrators. Expecting unparalleled spiritual energy, incredible techniques, and invincible treasures, he receives a disheartening message from the system. He possesses none of these. The system's purpose is to aid him in establishing the mightiest sect and propagating its glory. Wang Feng, bewildered, questions the system's capabilities, only to be met with silence. The system presents a new mission: recruit a disciple within 3 days, who willingly surrenders their valuable possessions as an end. Failure to complete this task would result in extermination. Realizing the dire circumstances, Wang Feng sets to work, with the deadline fast approaching. The boy, seemingly his only option, is now the focus of his recruitment efforts. Wang Feng tells the boy that he has detected remarkable potential within him, with extraordinary bones talent that are 1 in a million. After careful consideration, Wang Feng expresses his willingness to accept the boy as a disciple into the Divine Immortal Sect. However, the boy scoffs at the idea, doubting the legitimacy of the sect and Wang Feng's appearance, which he likens to that of an actor. Unperturbed, Wang Feng approaches the young man, imparting wisdom. "Young man, just as books should not be judged by their covers, so should sections." He points out that the larger, more glamorous sects have overlooked the boy's potential. Moved by Wang Feng's words, tears well up in the boy's eyes, and he asks, "Can I truly cultivate and achieve immortality?" In response, Wang Feng swiftly presents his sect's poster, explaining its name, the Divine Immortal Sect, and promising that, as the name suggests, entering the sect will ensure immortality. Excitedly, the boy envisions a future filled with boundless wealth, power, rescuing a girl, and taking her as his wife. Overwhelmed by these dreams, he eagerly retrieves his belongings. Wang Feng carefully takes the boy's possessions. However, the boy hesitates, asking, "What if I can't become immortal?" Wang Feng offers assurance, promising a full refund and assistance in finding another sect or introducing him to a suitable girl. The boy contemplates the offer, and a peculiar smile crosses Wang Feng's face. After a brief silence, the boy embarks on yet another wild dream, convinced of his genius. He agrees to Wang Feng's terms, stating, "It's okay, but I'll make one thing clear. I can't endure rigorous training. You must ensure I have full meals daily, clean clothes, and my needs met." Wang Feng readily accepts these conditions, affirming his commitment to fulfill them. In his inner thoughts, Wang Feng contemplates the situation, realizing that he's not exactly getting a disciple willingly. He's trying to save his own life. If not for the system's intervention, he might have considered sending this boy to meet his ancestors. As the boy hands over his belongings, another system window pops up, congratulating Wang Feng for acquiring his first disciple, Li Qing, and activating the strongest sex system. The host can now open his attribute board to check the rewards. With a smile and anticipation, Wang Feng is about to open the reward board when Li Qing suddenly hugs him and expresses gratitude, calling him a great sect master who not only accepted him, but also treats him well. Li Qing even suggests calling him Brother Wang Feng. Wang Feng, slightly taken aback, agrees. Li Qing then mentions his hunger, prompting Wang Feng to promise to prepare his meal. Seizing this opportunity to evade Li Qing's company, Wang Feng quickly enters the hut. Inside, he asks the system to open his attribute board to view his rewards. To his disappointment, he finds that he has no cultivation, constitution, or bloodline attribute. Feeling somewhat like cheap product, Wang Feng questions the system about summon chance and roll chance. The system clarifies that the summon chance allows the host to summon powerful individuals from different worlds who will become part of the host sect and instruct disciples. Intrigued by the notion of powerful people from across worlds, Wang Feng becomes lost in imagining. On the first day, Wang Feng attempts to start a fire, and on the second day, he sits in his hut, pondering its effectiveness in shielding him from the rain, saying to the system, "You gave me this hut for free. What if monsters come by?" On the third day, starving and lying on the floor, he contemplates returning home. Suddenly, Wang Feng snaps back to reality and instructs the system to summon someone powerful and invincible. Outside the hut, a mysterious space gate appears in the sky, and a formidable figure descends from it. As Li Qing rests against a tree, the impact of the arrival throws him from the tree. Panicked, Li Qing believes an earthquake is occurring and calls for help. The majestic and mighty figure, introduced as White Cloud City Master Yigu Qing, approaches the hut with a golden aura around him. Seeing this, Wang Feng is overjoyed, while Li Qing falls to the ground in fear, questioning if it's the end of the world. Wang Feng asks if this is what Li Qing meant, and nonchalantly reassures him that Yigu Qing is his bodyguard. Li Qing, still confused, asks why Wang Feng never mentioned having such a powerful person in their sect and inquires about Yigu Qing's cultivation stage. Wang Feng ponders the significance of cultivation stages in this world and asks the system to open Yigu Qing's attribute board. The system reveals that Yigu Qing is at the princely stage pinnacle with a heavenly class pinnacle technique, over heaven flying Xian, and a heavenly class pinnacle weapon, flying rainbow. Upon hearing this, Wang Feng replies that Elder Yi is only at the princely stage pinnacle. Li Qing is terrified by Wang Feng's choice of words, questioning what he means by only, explains that the princely stage pinnacle is considered the most powerful level of cultivation in the entire solar empire, making those who reach it among the strongest. Seeing Li Qing's reaction, Wang Feng is reassured that strong people are strong no matter where they are placed. Yigu Qing steps forward, greets Wang Feng, and Li Qing, in shock, wonders who Wang Feng really is. Li Qing is astounded that a princely stage master would bow to someone else, and Wang Feng finds Li Qing's reaction satisfactory. Yigu Qing greets Wang Feng, and Li Qing respectfully bows as well, acknowledging him as Elder Yi. Wang Feng is pleased with Li Qing's frankness and humor, noting that Li Qing appears more at ease after witnessing Yigu Qing's strength. He asks the system about the draw chance. The system explains that it allows the host to roll for prizes, including attributes like constitution, bloodline, and cultivation, which can be given to disciples or used by the host. Wang Feng was thrilled to hear this. Isn't this an opportunity for a rapid advancement? Give me the draw quickly. Surprisingly, this time he drew 10% of Yiguchen's cultivation. At this point, the system prompted the host to choose whether to use it for himself or for an internal disciple. Wang Feng thought to himself that he was still an ordinary person, so it wouldn't be much use to give the boost to himself rather than to a disciple. With the system's guidance, he learned that the 10% of Yiguchen's cultivation would elevate him to the initial stage of entry phase. Still unsure, Wang Feng asked the chubby boy about the divisions of cultivation levels in the world. Upon the chubby boy's explanation, he learned that the world's cultivation is divided into foundation building, profound vein, medium spirit, profound general, entry phase, nobility, profound sovereign, profound venerable, profound saint, profound emperor, and so on. Although Wang Feng wasn't impressed with the entry phase, ranking 5th, it was better than being an ordinary person. With this in mind, he decided to start absorbing the cultivation. As successive breakthroughs illuminated his body, Wang Feng felt a surge of power, and he could clearly perceive his surroundings. Seeing this, the chubby boy burst into the joy again, realizing that the sect master was no ordinary person. I need to cling to this powerful thigh, he thought, and he quickly rushed to Wang Feng, followed by a series of fervent knocks. He vowed to work hard and not let the sect master down. Meanwhile, a woman descended from the sky jumping on a bird, catching Wang Feng's attention. Yi Guchen reminded him that she was likely a cultivator, and had decent talent and cultivation. Crossing over our sect from above, it's proper to greet her. So Yi Guqin brandished his sword and inserted it into the riverbed, challenging her to descend with the sword. As he withdrew his sword, a gust of wind appeared, and Wang Feng was amazed that such a fuss was made just to say hello. The woman was unimpressed and began her descent with the bird. In a swift maneuver, she stopped just short of the ground. At this moment, a flyer floated in front of her, and she thought it might be some concealed weapon. So, she unsheathed her magical sword and stabbed it directly into the flyer. Suddenly, Yi Guqin shouted not to harm it. He withdrew his sword, which was infused with power, and the sword energy swept over the flyer and hit the woman, and she screamed and fell to the ground. Wang Feng, concerned about the rough handling of Yi Guqin, instructed the chubby boy to go and greet her. The chubby boy cautiously approached the woman and asked if she was okay. When she saw the flyer, she inquired if this was the Immortal Sect. Yes, I am the current Immortal Sect Master. Just then, the system alerted Wang Feng to a new task, congratulating him on discovering a genius and offering rewards for recruiting 10 disciples, including 10 summoning and 10 lottery chances. Wang Feng was ecstatic about the substantial rewards. He had only just accepted the chubby boy as a disciple, and now he had the opportunity to bring in the woman. This could potentially lead to rapid progress. He then asked the young woman, I see your potential. You must be an extraordinary talent in cultivation. After careful consideration, Wang Feng didn't get a chance to finish his sentence. He was apprehensive, considering that the woman could fly in the sky, and her strength was probably remarkable. Such tactics worked for the chubby boy, but they likely wouldn't work on her. Surprisingly, the woman responded positively, and looking at the flyer, she asked, Is this the Immortal Sect? Yes, I am the current Immortal Sect Master. Just then, the system informed Wang Feng that the woman could join as a disciple, but it wouldn't count as a successful recruitment unless she paid the entrance fee. Reluctantly, Wang Feng reached out and requested the fee. While you intend to join the sect, there are certain rules among the immortals that you must follow. So, please pay all the money you have on you as the entrance fee. But the woman employed a secret technique to cut through the man's defenses, the art of being cute. Senior brother, I'm in a hurry and I didn't bring any money with me. Can you spot me this time? Once this move was deployed, not even someone as quick as Wang Feng, who had a speed of 250, could resist. However, he wanted to refuse as it was against the system's rules. To his surprise, a group of strong and attractive women suddenly appeared behind the woman. Why aren't you running away? The Duke of this place, who had just become interested, remarked. Even your father can't protect you, let alone these few monkeys with 2 legs. What can you do? The woman immediately hid behind Wang Feng. Lin, don't be too proud. I am now a disciple of the Immortal Sect. In front of our sect master, you can't behave like a savage. At this point, Lingyun laughed loudly and said, Just a few monkeys. You should know that I also raise dogs. The servants were terrified. Wang Feng, on the other hand, thought to himself that he had initially thought it was a windfall, but now he realized he was the one being taken advantage of. It seemed that this recruitment of disciples was quite risky. However, the fat man broke the silence, saying, Junior sister, you don't need to be afraid. It's just the illusion mirror. Our sect master can crush them with just one finger. The junior disciples gnashed their teeth and wished they could rush over and tear the fat man apart. This fat guy just knows how to cause trouble. Although I'm 1 level higher than them, I lack real combat experience. If I fight them back and forth in front of the disciples, it would be embarrassing. Just as he was about to speak, the woman immediately intervened, thanking the sect master for his help. Wang Feng had no choice but to give in. Don't worry, with our sect here, no one can bully you. However, it seemed like he had forgotten about Yi Guqing's presence. Lingyun was clearly getting impatient. What are you all playing at? Go and kill that guy. With that, several junior disciples rushed towards Wang Feng. Just as they were about to strike, Wang Feng realized that their movements were extremely slow, and he easily bent the large swords they had brought with them. It appeared that in this world of cultivation, the difference in levels led to a significant compression of time and space. He had originally wanted to use this opportunity to practice against them, but it would be humiliating to fight back and forth with them in front of the disciples. He immediately shouted, Night Lonely Tide! Night Lonely City responded by drawing his flying fire sword, and in just 2.5 seconds, he had killed several junior disciples and placed the sword at Lingyun's neck. The woman on the side was shocked. Even though Ling Yun was only close to the Xian realm, he was considered above average in the entire Radiant Sun Empire. Being able to kill 5 Xian realm experts with one move, on the other side, Ling Yun was already covered in cold sweat. Could he only use this move? He clasped his hands together and said, I am but a junior in front of you, please spare my life. By leaving this time, I promise that my father, Chang Lin, will thank you with a generous gift. However, Wang Feng didn't care at all about their conversation. Whether it was the Marquis or the short Marquis, as long as they came to hunt him, the woman heard the words, short Marquis, and clenched her teeth. It turned out that the Chang Lin Marquis family had a huge influence. Marquis Lin not only had the cultivation of a Marquis, but he also controlled a 500-strong Marquis army, which included several high-ranking military commanders. Their strength was enough to rival some medium-level sects, which meant they could commit wrongdoings and persecute. Yet this immortal sect master didn't seem to care much about the Chang Lin Marquis family, and might even help seek revenge. Wang Feng was taken aback by the sudden change in attitude and asked, What's wrong with you? Why the sudden change? Wang Feng was also quite curious. What kind of grudge do you have with Ling Yun? The disciple explained. During an expedition, I met Ling Yun, the young Marquis of the Chang Lin Marquis family. He tried to take advantage of me because of my looks, but I managed to escape by luck. I thought the matter was over, but when I returned home, I found out that Ling Yun had brought a group of powerful cultivators and massacred hundreds of people in my neighboring family. Only with my father's desperate protection did I have a chance to escape from the tiger's mouth. Just now, Wang Feng agreed to help Xiao Wu seek justice. However, the captured Ling Yun was no longer submissive. He thrust his hand into the ground and stirred up a cloud of dust to make his escape. Wang Feng, watching Ling Yun about to escape, remained calm and even began to criticize. He thought the antagonist in the comics should be struggling and begging for mercy at this. Why isn't this guy following the script? He reassured Xiao Wu. Don't worry, with Elder Yi here, he won't escape. With Wang Feng's command, Yi Guqing slowly drew his flying sword, and his whole body emitted white energy. Everyone around was suspended in the air. At this moment, Wang Feng felt a little annoyed that Yi Guqing was always making such a big show every time he took action. He thought he should have a good talk with him next time. On the other side, as Yi Guqing leaped high into the air and arrived above Ling Yun, before he could react, a move, Celestial Immortal Beyond Heaven, struck down, and a white energy force directly aimed at Ling Yun. Accompanied by screams, the flying sword easily broke through, and Ling Yun and his subordinates fell to the ground. At the moment he fell, a jade pendant flew out from Ling Yun's chest. Seeing this, Xiao Wu's heart trembled, and hurriedly ran over to catch the jade pendant. Meanwhile, Ling Yun lay on the ground, lifeless. In secret, the master meant that young Master Ling had already left. At this moment, Xiao Wu was astonished. She had thought that Yi Guqing was powerful, but didn't expect him to be this strong, especially with that last move. Celestial Immortal Beyond Heaven. Even if the formidable King Kong ape had come in person, he might not have been able to come out unscathed. With such a figure as an elder in the immortal sect, he should have been famous by now. Why have I never heard of him? At that moment, Wang Feng snapped out of his reverie and said, I know you initially joined the immortal sect just for self-preservation, but we really want to take you as a disciple. However, considering that our sect is not well known in the world, you can decide after getting familiar with it. Seeing Xiao Wu's excited expression, Wang Feng couldn't help but feel proud. Hey, it seems like I've mastered the art of storytelling as a popular manga artist. At that moment, Xiao Wu handed him a jade pendant. This jade pendant is of great importance to me. It's a family heirloom that my father passed down to me. I intended to keep it as a token of my future love. But today, I'm willing to use it as my entrance fee to become your disciple. Wang Feng looked at the jade pendant and thought, I wonder if the system will care about this. It's not much of a loss. However, the next moment, Wang Feng was baffled. Why did Xiao Wu suddenly blush? It turned out that this jade pendant was very important to her, and her father had given it to him as a future token of love. When she was young, she thought it was a family heirloom and would never give it away. But who would have thought that today she would give it to Wang Feng himself? After accepting Xiao Wu as a disciple, Wang Feng also received rewards from the system, including 1 summon and 1 lottery opportunity. Afterward, Wang Feng patted Xiao Wu on the shoulder. Now that you are a disciple of the immortal sect, your grudges are our sect's grudges. You can first settle the score. Xiao Wu's eyes suddenly filled with murderous intent. She picked up a tree branch from the ground and walked slowly toward Ling Yun, who lay there like a dead dog. The grudge of annihilating her family ran deep, and she couldn't coexist with it. If this grudge was not avenged, I would be unworthy to be a member of the Lin family. She directly stabbed Ling Yun's chest. Ling Yun, you played around with my family's heirloom, and you thought that with powerful backing, you could dominate everything. Did you think that today, being on a high horse, you could cover the sky with one hand? Did you think that today, with your savage appearance, you could scare the sect master and the junior disciple? Let's end it here. You can rest peacefully below. At the same time, the system gave a notification. Congratulations to the inner disciple Ling Feiwu for killing the top-level Xian realm experts and gaining 300 sect points. The seemingly harmless fat sect master turned out to be an extraordinary freak, but Xiao Wu couldn't even make it to the top of the elite. Just after he personally avenged his father, she knelt down with a thud. Thanks to the sect master and Elder Yi for assisting Xiao Wu in avenging this blood feud. From now on, Xiao Wu is a person of the immortal sect, and even in death, she will be a part of the immortal sect's spirit. Wang Feng replied, our sect is only providing you with a platform for cultivation. Whether you can become a true strong cultivator or not, it depends on yourself. Speaking of this, Wang Feng helped Xiao Wu to her feet. But remember, our immortal sect fears no one. If there are blood feuds, we will eliminate them without hesitation, even if it's someone as formidable as the heavens. Upon hearing this, Xiao Wu was momentarily stunned, and tears welled up in her eyes. I will not disappoint the sect master's guidance. At this moment, Wang Feng felt a sense of satisfaction. Originally, the sect was a one-man show, but now, not only did he have disciples, but he also had a talented one like Lin Feiwu. The best part was he didn't have to worry about comparisons with others. It was truly delightful. However, the chubby boy beside him was feeling down. He thought, even though I'm the senior disciple, I can't let my junior disciple surpass me under such a powerful figure. So, he immediately turned to the sect master Wang Feng and asked, I wonder what arrangements you have for me, sect master? Wang Feng patted the chubby boy's belly and said, look at your body, you should lose some weight. Go and tidy up the area around the thatched house, and clean it up a bit. This is the face of our immortal sect. The chubby boy grumbled as he pulled out weeds. I was praised by senior uncle in the beginning for my artistic touch in decorating the house, and now my junior uncle has turned me into a gardener. On the other hand, Wang Feng was happily checking his rewards. He had managed to draw Yiqing before when he recruited the chubby boy, and now that he had taken in Xiao Wu, he wondered if he could draw some big shot this time. However, when he saw that Elder Yi only had a ranking of 5, he immediately gave up on that thought, deciding to save it for later. At this point, the sect points below caught his attention, so he quickly asked the system about their purpose. Informed by the system, he learned that sect points could not only be exchanged for lottery chances but could also be used to upgrade the system. As the system level increased, it allowed the host to summon more powerful experts and magical artifacts, as well as accommodate more disciples, among other things. Wang Feng's eyes widened as he heard this. How can I earn sect points? The system provided 3 ways to earn sect points: completing tasks issued by the system, defeating invading enemies, and recruiting top-tier geniuses into the sect. When he heard this, Wang Feng was puzzled. Wasn't Xiao Wu considered a top-tier genius for reaching the peak of medium spirit realm at the age of 18 or 19? Why didn't her recruitment of her increase his sect point? However, he soon realized that in the system's judgment, to qualify as a top-tier genius, one had to have not only talent but also a certain level of physique. So, he inquired about his own aptitude out of curiosity. The system's judgment was quite fair, but when he asked about the chubby boy's aptitude, the system prompted that checking his aptitude would cost 100 sect points. Wang Feng inwardly complained. This is quite expensive. It costs 100 sect points just to check an ordinary person's aptitude. Still, out of sheer curiosity, he clicked on the option to check the chubby boy's aptitude. To his amazement, the chubby boy was listed among the top-tier geniuses. He exclaimed, my goodness! This guy is even considered a top-tier genius! He's a lazy waste of space, but he possesses one of the world's top-tier special physique, and he shares the same lifespan as the heavens and the same level of invincible defense. After checking the chubby boy's aptitude, Wang Feng was stunned. But the system was extremely affirmative that the chubby boy had a suspended clock and the turtle immortal physique, which had not yet been activated. At this point, Wang Feng was quite puzzled, wondering what exactly was the Xian Ling godly ascended physique. Informed by the system, he learned that the Xian Ling godly ascended physique was one of the world's top-tier special physiques, possessing absolute defense and an indefinite lifespan, as long as it didn't suffer a fatal injury, making one immortal. Even more terrifying was its inherent defensive power. It could remain unscathed even if the heavens and the earth shattered. Wang Feng was left dumbfounded. This chubby boy possessed such an extraordinary physique. With some effort, he could cultivate this physique to become indestructible. So, Wang Feng made a decision to cultivate the chubby boy, as he thought about how useful it would be to have a human shield in battles. However, the problem now was how to activate the chubby boy's suspended clock and turtle immortal physique. On the other hand, the chubby boy was completely oblivious to these thoughts, and was indulging in self-admiration, considering himself the most handsome and powerful man on the entire Xianlan continent. The system even felt like smacking him for this outrageous self-love. The method to activate the Xian Ling godly ascended physique was to endure constant beatings. Wang Feng was both amazed and amused by this. It was quite an odd requirement that a person's physique needed continuous blows to stimulate the bloodlines for awakening. This revelation delighted him, thinking that he could just let the chubby boy take a beating, and as long as he didn't kill him, the boy's innate physique should help him recover quickly. At this moment, the chubby boy felt a chill, even though he didn't understand the depth of what was being discussed. He suddenly felt a burst of white energy, which startled him. Wang Feng, on the other hand, was equally surprised and asked the system for an explanation. It turned out that this upheaval in the world was a sign of Xiao Wu's imminent breakthrough, which astonished him. He hadn't expected that Yi Gu Cheng's assistant in healing Xiao Wu would lead to her breakthrough. He explained to the chubby boy that these were signs of her upcoming breakthrough. The chubby boy was struck with fear at this revelation. He now realized that his junior sister had not only become the disciple of the formidable Yi Cheng, but she had also advanced in her cultivation within a single day. In contrast, he was still just a mortal. He feared that he might even lose his status as the senior disciple if this continued. Wang Feng assured the chubby boy that he would start teaching him cultivation tomorrow, and it was not impossible for him to surpass his junior sister in time. However, the condition was that he had to endure what was coming. The chubby boy confidently promised to endure whatever it took and thanked the sect master for his trust. Wang Feng added that he believed the chubby boy's physique could endure it. While the chubby boy was making such commitments, he was unaware that his thoughts were causing a disturbance. As for Xiao Wu's breakthrough, it had caught the attention of Mo Xiu, who had just awakened. He saw it as an opportunity to regain his strength, and immediately headed towards the immortal sect. On the other side, as Xiao Wu's intentions continued to retract, she successfully broke through to the profound general realm. This achievement also rewarded Wang Feng with 1,000 sect points. He couldn't help but feel a sense of joy, thinking that this young lady was indeed a genius. She had just joined the sect a day ago and was only one step behind him. He was grateful for having the system, otherwise, he might be overtaken by her, and that would be a blow to his ego. As Xiao Wu was lost in her thoughts, she quickly expressed her gratitude, thanking the sect master for giving her this opportunity. However, this made the chubby boy extremely jealous, and he muttered to himself, "Humph, mere profound general realm is nothing. Wait until I, as the senior disciple, reach entry phase realm in a year. That's what I call impressive." Wang Feng took the opportunity to suggest that she should follow Elder Yi closely in the future, as the sect hoped to promote her name among the immortals. At the same time, as all these events were unfolding, the system kept track of the occurrences. The great demon had arrived behind Wang Feng, thinking there was only one great demon to deal with. But to his surprise, there were a few more insignificant pests to deal with. Wang Feng immediately switched to the system and spent 100 sect points to investigate the complete origin of this intruder. As the saying goes, knowing your enemy is key to 100 battles. This person was giving Wang Feng immense pressure, to the point that he doubted even Yi Gu Cheng could defeat him. So, it was better to have as much information as possible. The system quickly informed Wang Feng that this person was the great demon from the Aryan Empire, which existed 1,000 years ago. He had reached the peak of profound sovereign realm before being sealed by the great emperor of the Aryan Empire. Currently, he was in a state of just breaking through the peak, with his cultivation only at the peak of nobility realm. Wang Feng felt relieved, at least he wasn't in his peak state. Otherwise, it would be a challenge even for Yi Gu Cheng to handle him. However, the chubby boy, standing beside him, was defiant and shouted, "Who are you? How dare you trespass into our immortal sect? Leave now, or our elder Yi Ching will make sure you have no resting place." The great demon looked at the humble thatched hut and felt extremely contemptuous. He had never heard of this immortal sect and found the chubby boy's words laughable. Wang Feng couldn't help but sigh. He didn't expect the chubby boy to be so brave. With the status of an ordinary mortal, he dared to insult a peak nobility level expert. On the other hand, Xiao Wu quickly reminded her senior brother that this person's aura was not weaker than her master Yi. At least, he had the power of a nobility realm. It was evident that this intruder had some knowledge, and this realization made him burst into laughter. The chubby boy, however, was unafraid and said, "What if he's a nobility realm expert? Don't we have our sect master here? Besides, the sect master said that within a year, you'll surpass the entry phase. A tiny nobility realm, and you dare to act arrogantly in our immortal sect. What a small turtle trying to jump off a cliff without knowing its place." This retort actually got to the great demon, who looked at Wang Feng in confusion. He could sense some power from him, but it wasn't that extreme, was it? At this moment, Wang Feng was full of helplessness. He realized why the chubby boy possessed the immortal turtle physique. He was incredibly audacious. In response, the great demon angrily shouted, "Is there anyone else to come out and confront me? If you don't, then I'll deal with this idiot fat boy." Wang Feng saw this as an opportunity to stall the great demon, and he instructed Yi Qing to hold him back. Then, he used his second summoning opportunity to join the fight. After finishing speaking, Yi Qing used only one sword to shatter the incoming evil aura. Unexpectedly, numerous evil aura attacked him from behind. When he realized it, he was already firmly trapped by the malevolent aura. He thought Elder Yi Qing mentioned was so powerful, but it turned out to be an easy capture. Xiao Wu saw that Master was trapped and couldn't help but say, "Sect Master, quickly lend a hand and save Master." Wang Feng replied, "Don't underestimate your master. How can the claws of some demon capture Yi Qing?" As soon as he spoke, a sword energy directly pierced the spell, shooting towards the great demon. Even though he used all his strength to resist, his hand, pierced by the sword energy, and his body were still knocked to the ground. He looked at Yi Qing approaching slowly and sighed in his heart. Unexpectedly, in this mountain, there was still a hidden expert in the corner. Wang Feng was relieved to have Yi Qing by his side, but the chubby boy couldn't help but tease the great demon. He pointed at the great demon and taunted him, "Why don't you hurry up and leave, or our elder Yiloner will ensure you have no place to rest." The chubby boy's words didn't sit well with the great demon. As Wang Feng was trying to talk some sense into the great demon, the chubby boy made a fuss again. He pointed at the great demon and shouted, "Are you planning to escape because you can't win? That's not going to happen unless you crawl through my legs. Otherwise, there's no way you'll get away unscathed." These words infuriated the great demon. He couldn't believe that a mere mortal was being so audacious. Before he could respond, Wang Feng suddenly punched the chubby boy in the face. The chubby boy was shocked and said innocently, "Sect Master, why did you hit me? I thought I saw a mosquito on your face." In reality, Wang Feng thought the chubby boy was asking for a beating and had almost forgotten he was on their side. At this moment, the great demon, looking at the scar on his hand, taunted Yi Qing. "You are the first person to truly arouse my appetite. To show my respect for you, I've decided to tear you apart myself." With that, a huge blood-red hand reached out towards Yi Qing's head. Seeing this, Xiao Wu was very worried, but he remained calm, holding the Fei Hong's sword close to his chest. He then used a move called Heavenly Immortal's Flight to confront the incoming attack. Upon their collision, a fierce wind blew, and the ground shook with thunderous roars. The entire valley was flattened, but the humble thatched house in the immortal sect remained standing as if untouched. Despite the great demon unleashing his ultimate move, Yi Qing remained unharmed. He began to worry, as Yi Qing's strength was only slightly inferior to his. If he used all his power to attack, he was confident he could defeat Yi Qing. However, the old man would surely detect that he had broken through, and he would have no choice but to escape. So, he decided to play it safe for now, and then return to fight later. Yi Qing heard his words and responded, "Sorry, but you won't be able to leave today. My goal to keep you here has already been achieved." Just as he finished speaking, the sky suddenly filled with large snowflakes. Wang Feng, seeing this, was delighted, as he knew that it was coming. The great demon, however, was utterly confused. He asked, Who are you talking about? Yi Gu Cheng replied. Originally, I didn't know, but now my sword tells me that he is my lifelong nemesis, Shimen Piaxue. The great demon panicked. Facing one Yi Gu Cheng was already a headache, and now, another formidable opponent had arrived. It seemed like he needed to come up with a clever plan. He decided to run, as he believed that discretion was the better part of valor. However, Shimen Piaxue couldn't let him go. With a flick of his fingers, the great demon's neck instantly burst open. He gazed at the invisible sword that Shimen Piaxue had conjured and was both shocked and curious. He wondered how a sword technique could be so powerful and operate without any visible blades. Shimen Piaxue replied casually, I just swung my sword casually. It's nothing special, not worth naming. One was Sword Immortal Yi Gu Cheng, and the other was Sword God Shimen Piaxue. These two were originally destined enemies, but they willingly joined the same sect, even to the surprise of the once arrogant great demon Xian Cha. After Shimen Piaxue injured the great demon, Wang Feng couldn't help but exclaim that he had unwittingly summoned Yi Gu Cheng's only lifelong rival. Even though both had reached their respective self-imposed limits, Wang Feng thought it is reasonable to assume that Yi Gu Cheng was stronger. However, the system revealed that Shimen Piaxue, who was summoned this time, had reached the pinnacle of the sovereign realm. After their decisive battle, he had attained his vision, where he could perceive everything in the world as sword, making him stronger than Yi Gu Cheng. Wang Feng, upon hearing this, had a sudden realization. He thought, if that's the case, it's understandable. With skilled practitioners of the sovereign realm now participating in the battle within the immortal sect, it wouldn't be long before they grew stronger and more influential. However, Yi Gu Cheng, holding the Fei Hong sword, understood that Yi Gu Cheng intended to have a showdown with him. He gently pushed away the long sword and said, You are not my match right now. When you break through to the sovereign realm, you can challenge me. Until then, let's part ways. With that, he saluted Wang Feng and Shimen Piaxue asked for forgiveness for arriving a little late. Meanwhile, the great demon struggled to get up. He was anxious as he realized that if Yi Gu Cheng intervened, he might have a chance to escape. However, if Shimen Piaxue also joined the fight, his chances of survival would be next to none. Despite only being at the noble realm, the power of the sovereign realm experts was awe-inspiring. He was convinced that their combined attack would be terrifying. He decided that if it was destined for him to meet his end today, he would at least take someone down with him. With determination, he lunged toward the chubby boy. The chubby boy, horrified, cried out, Why are you attacking me? My brother just said that killing me would dirty his hands, but now you're coming for me, the soft target. Fortunately, Yi Gu Cheng intervened in time to save the chubby boy, but he did sustain some injuries. As the Fei Hong sword slowly returned to its sheath, the chubby boy promptly tripped and fell. Despite the strength of the immortal sect, when encountering individuals who didn't value their lives, even talented individuals could meet untimely ends. It seemed he needed to be more cautious in the future. Just then, Shimen Piaxue mentioned preventing a reputation from forming around his name, and he placed his hand on the great demon's head. Shimen Piaxue asked how they should deal with him. Wang Feng replied, We'll give you two choices. Either surrender all your possessions and join our immortal sect, or we'll use your body as fertilizer for our flowers and plants on the mountain. The great demon immediately exclaimed, I'd rather die than be humiliated. However, the chubby boy chimed in, He's choosing the second option, but I'll personally bury him later, pee on him, and ensure that our flowers and plants on the mountain will thrive by his grave. This comment infuriated Wang Feng. He said, Everywhere you go, you're causing trouble. I'm going to help you cultivate a turtle-like physique. However, as soon as he spoke, the chubby boy received another punch. He looked innocently at his junior sister and said, Why are you hitting me, junior sister? She replied, I saw a mosquito on his face. Chubby boy questioned, Why are these mosquitoes so fond of me? Maybe they can sense the genius blood running through my veins. At this point, the great demon, infuriated, wanted nothing more than to tear the chubby boy apart. Wang Feng, on the other hand, couldn't help but smile. He thought, You have a proud spirit, so I might as well make you work for it. Join us for a year, and after that, if you can endure, you can leave any time you want. The great demon reluctantly agreed and handed over all his belongings. Wang Feng, taking the pouch of money, couldn't help but complain about the distance he had to travel to buy it. However, he also noted that the great demon seemed honest, despite his earlier outburst. At that moment, The system congratulated Wang Feng on recruiting the Great Demon and rewarded him with 10,000 sect points and a random summoning opportunity. Wang Feng was delighted with the generous rewards. He realized that if he had the chance in the future, he should continue recruiting powerful individuals. Now that he had secured the rewards, he couldn't help but consider the possibility of eliminating the Great Demon if he posed a real threat. With this in mind, he probed further and asked about the Great Demon's mention of taste, wanting to know the truth behind it. The Great Demon, feeling cornered, had no choice but to reveal his secret. It turned out to be just a peculiar habit, and he had never actually eaten anyone. Wang Feng was momentarily stunned but then inquired with the system if the Great Demon's words were true. System confirmed that it is indeed true. After receiving a positive response, everyone shared a knowing smile. Wang Feng couldn't help but chuckle to himself, thinking, "Darn, you're a renowned Great Demon and a peak expert of the Purple Forbidden Mirror. Yet you resorted to scaring others just to satisfy yourself. How shameless must you be to do something like that?" The Great Demon, on the other hand, was thinking, "If I didn't think you'd be repulsed by the idea of eating, I'd never have revealed the truth. But now, the cat's out of the bag." However, to the onlookers, Xiao Wu and the chubby boy, it was a different scene altogether. In just a few words, they had witnessed the Great Demon, a formidable expert, willingly join the immortal sect. The methods of the sect's leader were truly beyond their imagination. At this point, Wang Feng decided to lead everyone inside the grass hut. He said, "Enough standing around outside. Let's go inside. I'll take you to the immortal sect's true headquarters." The chubby boy and Xiao Wu eagerly followed. The Great Demon also felt relieved, thinking, "I never imagined I'd provoke an ancient immortal sect. With just this simple straw hut as their base, how could they produce experts like He Gu Qing and Shimin Piaxue?" But the Great Demon underestimated the situation. As they entered the hut, it was clear the space was too cramped for everyone. Wang Feng took out a token and commanded, "Don't just stand there. Pick a spot, but don't trespass on some places." After arranging everyone, he pushed open the large doors, revealing a magnificent golden door with the words, "Immortal Sect," inscribed on a massive stone tablet. The Great Demon was once again amazed, wondering about the nature of this sect. It was evidently hidden within a secret realm, which was extremely rare in the immortal land. Every time a secret realm appears, it will set off a bloody storm. That's because only those above the profound Emperor realm are able to open a secret realm. The secret realm will most likely contain treasures, and even legacies left behind by the profound Emperor realm powerhouse. The fact that this seemingly unimpressive sect had claimed an entire secret realm suggested that the immortal sect was founded by profound Emperor realm experts. This, in turn, implied that the immortal sect possessed the inheritance of the Emperor realm expert. The Great Demon realized that if he could obtain that inheritance, it might be his ticket to greater heights. Once they stepped inside the secret realm, they were greeted by a surreal grand hall. At its entrance, a massive stone tablet bore the words, "Immortal Sect." The Great Demon was once again astonished by this discovery. Wang Feng, people showed expressions of joy one after another. Upon arriving at the front door of the grand hall, Wang Feng turned to the various pavilions, saying they could choose freely, but some restricted areas should not be trespassed. After arranging everyone, he pushed open the main door. The sight that met his eyes was the majestic 10 seats, with the main hall master's throne at the center. After sitting down, Wang Feng silently resolved to one day fill this hall with powerful experts. Surprisingly, this stroke of good luck randomly summoned the world's #1 character, Yao Yu, Palace Lord of Shifting Flowers. Immediately, Wang Feng checked her other attributes. According to the system's introduction, Yao Yu was a character from a certain dragon martial arts novel, The Princess of the Shifting Flower Palace. Her martial arts and beauty were unparalleled, and she could rival the world's #1 divine sword god. Her cultivation had reached the peak of sovereign realm. Wang Feng couldn't help but admire her reputation and skills, the #1 expert. Beautiful. At this moment, numerous ice flowers fell from the stone slab. Wang Feng followed the traces and looked up. First, a majestic figure slowly stepped out, then a pair of cold eyes appeared, and finally, when her entire body emerged, her outstanding figure and long thighs directly stunned Wang Feng. This was the #1 character in the world in her past life. Even if I were to draw with broken hands, I probably couldn't capture her beauty. After Yao Yu landed, she immediately woke up towards Wang Feng. Yao Yu saluted. Greetings, sect master. At this moment, Wang Feng felt secretly pleased. It was too satisfying to have the number one character in the martial arts world bowing to him. However, he said, no need to worry too much. From now on, you can stay by my side at any time. Yao Yu immediately agreed, addressing him, Master. She then took a seat on a stone chair. However, her body emitted a bone-chilling aura that made Wang Feng shiver, prompting him to ask her to leave temporarily. Once she departed, Wang Feng couldn't help but comment, this woman's cultivation in the bright jade palace is terrifying. Even if she doesn't use her abilities intentionally, I feel like I'm freezing just being near her. After Yao Yu left the main hall, she entered a random guest room. Coincidentally, when she went inside, the great demon emerged from the adjacent room, muttering to himself. This immortal sect is supposed to be an ancient and powerful sect. So why do we only see a few strong individuals? Could it be that the immortal sect is just a facade? He was about to kick the door open, suspecting that the sect was all show and no substance. However, as he took a step toward the door, a blast of cold air hit him in the face, leaving him bewildered. Before he could react, his leg turned into a giant ice spike. He fell to the ground and lay there, bewildered by the bizarre turn of events. Once he regained his senses, he looked through the crack in the door and saw a charming woman sitting on a sofa. She spoke with a cold, threatening tone. If you dare trespass again, there's only one outcome for you, death. Terrified, the great demon quickly retreated, drenched in cold sweat. It seemed that another expert had awakened after being disturbed by his earlier exploration. He had to admit that recklessly searching the rooms was a terrible idea. The great demon couldn't help but reflect on his recent experiences, realizing that despite the rough situations he found himself in, he was still fortunate to have gained the favor of powerful figures. While he may have faced setbacks, others would be envious of his ability to form such influential connections. The next morning, Xiao Wu visited the chubby boy outside his room. The chubby boy, wearing a troubled expression, was surprised and asked, Why are you here so early? Xiao Wu, with an affectionate demeanor, placed a hand on the chubby boy's cheek and replied, Senior brother, you've offended someone. Before the chubby boy could react, Xiao Wu struck him with great force, causing a tremendous impact that sent the chubby boy flying. He crashed into the ground, and the entire building shook from the impact. As he lay on the ground, the chubby boy thought, How can this be? I was hit by that force, but I'm perfectly fine. He then looked up at Xiao Wu and asked in disbelief, Senior sister, what are you trying to do? Xiao Wu, still shocked, responded, Senior brother, I did this for your own good. Chubby boy complained you hit me, and you even said it was for my benefit. Senior brother, you must have misunderstood. The sect leader asked me to spar with you, and he specifically told me that as long as I don't kill you, anything goes. The sect leader said you have an extraordinary physique. The chubby boy, learning the truth, was astonished and said, Senior sister, you're joking, right? I have an extraordinary physique? Why don't I know about it? Senior sister, you should be honest with me. Did I offend the sect leader? I can't believe I'm a peerless genius, but I'm still just a mortal. Xiao Wu explained. Your physique hasn't been activated yet. The chubby boy asked how to activate it, but before he could get an answer, Xiao Wu delivered a powerful kick to his face. The chubby boy realized that it was a simple way to activate his physique. Bewildered, he asked, Senior sister, is this for real? However, Xiao Wu responded, Of course, senior brother. This is for your own good. The sect leader is afraid that if he tried to spar with you, he might accidentally strike you down, so he asked me to train you instead. He clapped his hands around Xiao Wu, who was surrounded by spiritual energy, and he was so scared that he almost wet himself. At the same time, Wang Feng heard the screams coming from the attic, which sounded like pigs being slaughtered. He couldn't help but feel that with the help of such a good junior sister, the chubby boy would surely activate his potential and become a peerless genius. If it weren't for the sect leader's image, I would personally beat him hard and activate his black tortoise physique. However, he was unaware that someone had their eyes on him. At this moment, the Lingxiao Peak, shrouded in clouds and mist, had many tall buildings. The main hall's plaque displayed the 4 characters of the Lingyun sect. Although there were many people gathered in the hall, the atmosphere was as silent as death. Dusty, as the sect leader, had a troubled expression on. At this moment, Elder Chiu Wanfeng said that the demon sealing gathering was about to begin. But our and young Lord Qinzin won't be able to break through to the profound general realm anytime soon. This time, I'm afraid our Lingyun sect won't be able to participate in the demon sealing list. Sect leader, if we continue like this, our sect will become a retirement home. But Chin Feng was not concerned. He said that the demon sealing gathering was crucial and that they had to find a way to compete. The demon sealing gathering was even more critical as it determined whether they could join the Yari Academy. They couldn't afford to miss this opportunity. However, Chiu Wanfeng delivered a blow to his hopes. This time, that person specifically ordered that only the young disciples of this generation could participate in the Insanity Demon meeting. But in our sect, only the young master has reached the medium spirit realm. If we let him participate, it would be like giving up our secrets. Zhong Wenyan sighed when he heard this, and the hall was filled with the sound of sighs. Just as everyone fell silent, Dusty suddenly had an idea. Since they couldn't rely on their own people, why not try to borrow a boat? He quickly inquired about any strange events that had recently occurred on the outskirts of the new Stone Mountain Range. Chiu Wanfeng replied, stroking his beard. Not long ago, a neighboring family was sealed, and the young lady of the neighboring family escaped. It is said that she was pursued by the young master of the Marquis family to the outskirts of the mountain range and then disappeared. At this moment, Dusty was regretful, but the matter of the Marquis family involved the high-level figures of the Yari Empire. Moreover, the young lady from the neighboring family had become a pestilence, and they couldn't afford to get involved. Then, Chiu Wanfeng mentioned another strange occurrence. According to a disciple's report, yesterday, in a valley on the outskirts of the mountain range, there was a surge of energy that seemed to be from a breakthrough of profound general realm. When Dusty heard this, his eyes lit up with joy. If, as you said, could it be that a young cultivator got a chance to break through to the profound general realm on the outskirts of the mountain range? I don't know. That disciple didn't dare to get close enough to investigate, but only felt this aura from afar. Couldn't be confirmed yet. If this young genius could represent our sect in the demon sealing gathering, he would surely achieve high rankings. However, Chiu Wanfeng was worried about the consequences if this young person had a sect. If it was a disciple of a great sect, that would be fine, we will borrow him. If it was a disciple of a small sect, then we will first eliminate his sect and then keep him in our Lingyun sect forcefully. At the same time, on the vast grounds of the immortal sect, Wang Feng was using his 10,000 sect point. He exchanged for a tenfold draw. Countless system rewards surrounded him, such as 10% cultivation of Yao Yu, Shimen Piaoxue, Yigu Qing, and also their martial arts. Then, without hesitation, he infused all cultivation and mysteries into himself. After a moment, numerous light spheres poured into his body. At this moment, he was no longer the easy target to be trifled with. He had become recognized as a top-tier player among the entire immortal realm. Originally, he was considered trash, and even top-level experts joined his sect. Now he had become the strongest in the realm. It turned out that he possessed the most powerful system. As long as he continued to take in disciples, he could summon gods and demons from all realms, becoming stronger while lying down. What kind of experience was?
However, on this day, the immortal sect received an unexpected guest. It was Autumn Wanfeng who came on orders. Upon seeing the sect's plaque, his expression was filled with disdain. What kind of nonsense sect is this? Daring to call itself the immortal sect? My Lingyun sect is the largest peripheral sect in the Starry Mountain Range, and we don't even dare to do so. What's more, they use a thatched cottage as their sect residence. It's truly laughable. Just as he finished speaking, the walls of the cottage collapsed with a bang, accompanied by a huge bloodhound. Before he could react, he found himself in close contact with the bloodhound. Unable to bear this affection, Autumn Wanfeng buried his head shyly in the wall. This sudden humiliation made him feel extremely resentful, having grown up in the sect. So he quickly started barking. How dare you, scoundrels, attack me, an elder of my sect? You should know that I am the elder of the Lingyun sect. If you dare to hit me again, my sect will make you beg for mercy and wish for death. However, as he barked, Wang Feng and the big devil had already arrived beside him. At this moment, the big devil was extremely excited, thinking that finally there was a scapegoat to vent his frustrations on. While Wang Feng wore a grim expression, what kind of nonsense Lingyun sect have I never heard of it? You're barking at my sect's door early in the morning. What's the meaning of this? Autumn Wanfeng was shocked, speechless. He simply couldn't believe that such a small sect could have such strong individuals. Seeing him remain silent for so long, Wang Feng glanced at the big devil beside him and said, "Little devil, our immortal sect has always sought to win people over with virtue. This despicable old man is up to you. You must make him willingly speak." The big devil nodded understandingly, then quickly formed a giant blood hand and firmly grasped Autumn Wanfeng while shouting, "You old man simply don't know any better. If you don't want this stone to be your grave, I advise you to honestly speak up." At this moment, Autumn Wanfeng was terrified, thinking that you talk about winning people over with virtue. "If I don't speak, I'm afraid my grave will be overgrown with grass by next year." So he quickly confessed, "I am called Autumn Wanfeng, the elder of the Lingyun sect. I came here to investigate the Xuanzang mirror's aura that appeared in the valley earlier." Wang Feng pondered for a moment and said, "This Xuanzang aura must surely be the recent breakthrough of Little Five. But why are you investigating this person? Just because the Wind Demon Conference is approaching? And because my sect lacks a disciple who can rank on the Wind Demon list, so you came to find a talented disciple to take back to the sect?" But Wang Feng seemed puzzled. "You actually don't know about the Wind Demon Conference? How unexpected." Autumn Wanfeng was also surprised. "You don't know about the Wind Demon Conference?" But thinking about it, it's not surprising that these barbaric and unreasonable small sects wouldn't know. It's not strange at all. Little did he know that because of his hesitation, a big faceplate and the big demon came to interact intimately. Afterward, he could only explain everything reluctantly. Subsequently, he could only confess everything. The Wind Demon Conference is held to suppress the seal of the millennium-old great demon Xuanzang. It is known as a grand event that occurs once every 10 years in the empire of the Solar Dynasty. Due to the immense terror of the great demon Xuanzang, even if sealed, his pure demonic energy still leaks out. This causes wherever he is sealed to be contaminated by demonic energy. Therefore, the Emperor of the Solar Dynasty organizes all the strong disciples of the sects within the empire to go and kill the demonic beasts tainted by the demonic energy to weaken the power of the great demon Xuanzang. But this time, the Emperor of the Solar Dynasty issued a decree only allowing the younger generation of disciples to participate. So now all sects are crazily cultivating disciples within their sects and searching for talented individuals practicing outside. At this moment, Wang Feng listened with great satisfaction. "I have to say, your insight is truly impressive. In the vast sea of people, you immediately spotted the true purpose of the Wind Demon Conference." This also made the big devil beside him chuckle. "Hehehe, I never thought that the Wind Demon Conference was actually held specifically for me." At this moment, Autumn Wanfeng had already sweated profusely and there was a look of panic in his eyes. "Held for you? Could it be?" Unexpectedly, the formerly submissive Wang Feng suddenly became decisive and firm. Just as he learned that the true host of the Wind Demon Conference this time was the newly accepted disciple, the big demon, he couldn't help but feel a twinge of worry. To make a ruler of a great empire so wary, even willing to hold the Wind Demon Conference every 10 years, must mean that the task of killing the great demon is definitely not as simple as it seems on the surface. So he turned his head and tentatively asked, "Little devil, how did you manage to escape after being sealed by so many powerful beings?" Facing this sudden question, the big demon seemed to sense Wang Feng's intentions, and could only honestly confess, "Master, I won't hide it from you. In recent years, I have created a clone technique. Actually, those old fogies only sealed one of my clones." At this, and inquired about the Wind Demon ranking. It turned out that the Wind Demon ranking was the list for this conference, ranking based on the number of demonic beasts tainted by demonic energy killed. In previous years, the Wind Demon ranking targeted older, strong individuals, but this time, only the younger generation was allowed to participate. Wang Feng was overjoyed by this revelation. "It seems that this conference will attract numerous young talents. Perhaps through this, I can fulfill the task of recruiting disciples systematically." Upon learning that the conference would not be held for another month, he couldn't help but feel elated. "It seems there is still plenty of time. I must perform well at that time." Just as he was lost in his thoughts, Autumn Wanfeng began to plead for mercy. "Boss, now that you know everything, can you let me go?" But Wang Feng stopped in front of him. "Letting you go is simple. But you have to honestly tell me, what will you do if you find the person with the Xuanzang mirror?" "I will bring them back to the sect." "Then what will you do next?" "I will bring them back to the sect." Seeing Wang Feng's murderous eyes, sweat beads covered Autumn Wanfeng's forehead. But he couldn't utter what Chen Feng had instructed. Wang Feng noticed his silence and immediately ordered the big demon to exert pressure in order to save his life. Under duress, Autumn Wanfeng could only confess honestly. "If they are from a small sect, we'll destroy their sect and cut off their retreat." As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Feng indifferently turned his head and then gestured with his hand, "Kill him." The big demon immediately understood and tightly clenched his left fist. With just a "you have no martial ethics," Autumn Wanfeng was instantly incinerated on the spot. Wang Feng also effortlessly gained 500 sect merits. At this moment, the big demon looked disdainful. This is the true nature of the Dao Empire's major sects, which is even more demonic than us. Since the sect master has already had a conflict with the Lingyun sect, why not just go and finish him off? Thoughts raced through Wang Feng's mind. If the Lingyun sect can do such domineering things, they must not be good people. Moreover, if they find out about Autumn Wanfeng, it will bring endless troubles to the godly sect. Thinking of this, Wang Feng had an answer in his heart. So be it. Let me go and see. At the same time, in the Chongling mansion of the Dao Empire's capital city, a green-skinned repairman was acting as a desk, while the Marquis of Chongling, Lin Tianxiang, was leisurely admiring a bunch of chrysanthemums. After a moment, he suddenly asked Wang Lao beside him, "How come Yuni hasn't returned yet? Didn't I send him to kill the remaining members of the Lin family? Why is it taking so long?" Reporting to the Marquis, "I have already sent someone to inform young Master Yuni. He might already be on his way back." Just then, the token at Wang Lao's waist buzzed. "There's news for the Marquis. It's probably young Master Yuni fearing your impatience and sending a message back to report to you. It seems this kid has some conscience. Knowing his father is worried about him. Quick, look at the voice transmission token. I want to hear what that kid has to say." But when Wang Lao finished listening to the transmission, tears flowed freely from his eyes, and he trembled as he said, "Master Yun. Young Master. He's dead." Hong Tianxiang was instantly furious, and he directly beheaded the nearby Pai Xiu. "Who the hell dares to? Hurry up and investigate. How dare they dig behind my back? I will definitely tear that scoundrel apart." To the renowned Constant Forest Marquis, the ancient Pai Xiu was his mount. But he was a slowpoke nearing 60 before having a son. Of course, his son didn't disappoint him, engaging in all sorts of misdeeds, ultimately meeting his end at Little Wu's hands. Upon hearing this news, Lin Tianxiang was immediately enraged, determined to torture the culprit. The next day, the city of Rijin was as calm as usual, with the streets bustling as ever. The commander of the city guard, Li Qichen, watching the scene, felt quite pleased. But the next moment he noticed a massive army slowly approaching the city gates, led by Pai Xiu, which he found all too familiar. Cold sweat dripped from his forehead involuntarily, so he quickly leaped down, blocking the crowd and shouting loudly. "Constant Forest Marquis Lin Tianxiang, you've privately mobilized the Constant Forest Army out of the Imperial City. Do you realize this is a grave offense? I'm well aware that this action is unworthy of His Majesty's trust, but my only son has been brutally murdered. I must avenge him, and I will return to beg His Majesty's forgiveness. Once justice is served." But Li Qing was still extremely surprised in his heart. You know, Lin Yuni is his only thorn in the flesh. I don't know who had the guts to actually kill his son. But just as he was pondering, Lin Tianxiang saw his unwavering attitude and directly roared to the sky, "Li Qichen, I spared you some face because you're the leader of the guards. If you don't back down, don't blame me for taking action against you. Today, even if the God of Heaven comes, no one can stop me from getting my son back." Just as he was at a loss for what to do, a voice came from within Fuqing. "Let Li Qichen pass. The death of his son has made him lose his mind. Although it's offensive, it's understandable. Let him come back immediately to see me and plead his case." Li Qichen quickly bowed and let him pass. "You may go. After you come back, go to see His Majesty and apologize." Lin Tianxiang also sighed heavily and thanked His Majesty for his understanding. It seems that in the martial world, there's going to be a bloody storm again. On the other side, Wang Feng has already brought Yao Yu and others to the Lingyun sect. Just as they landed, they found a purple-haired young man being surrounded and beaten. They saw him holding his head and begging for mercy. I don't know what offense Li He committed against the young master. I hope you, sir, can overlook the offense and spare me. Please spare me. Young master, please. I see you're quite handsome, so I specially reward you with a kiss. Yet you dare to dodge. You tell me, are you asking for a beating? It turns out this person is Qin Xing, the young master of the Lingyun sect. However, at this moment, several little brothers beside him also sighed repeatedly. It's truly heaven's blessing to be born. Thanks to our parents for raising us so indulgently. Otherwise, sooner or later, we'll end up in trouble. If it weren't for us being the top 3 favorites of the Lingyun sect, the sect master probably wouldn't have chosen us to serve the young master. At this moment, Qin Xing became more and more excited as he fought, continuously shouting, "Menial disciples are just menial disciples. Just a few glances from you and they can't take it. It's really a waste of breath to rely on them." However, Wang Feng, beside him, looked helpless. This young master of the Lingyun sect is so arrogant, yet so tyrannical. It's evident that this sect isn't anything good either. Unexpectedly, at this moment, the system sent a prompt, "Congratulations to the host for discovering a peerless genius." Wang Feng looked at the enchanting Qin Xing in shock. Damn. System, is this what you mean by a peerless genius? Looking at him as he appeared in the system box, Wang Feng almost couldn't hold back his laughter. As the camera kept switching, fortunately it was this purple-haired youth, Li He. At this moment, Wang Feng was utterly puzzled. Peerless genius? And yet, he's being bullied like this? Just now, the system prompted Wang Feng that Xiao Haizi is the peerless genius. But looking at this weak man, Wang Feng couldn't help but break into a cold sweat. To be beaten like this and still be called a peerless genius? Is he like Fatty, a mortal with peerless physique? Thinking of this, Wang Feng quickly jumped down and rushed forward to stop them. Brat, stop! But Qinxing sneered, I want to see which idiot dares to make me shut up. However, when he saw Wang Feng's face, he immediately became sickly. Little master, I advise you to surrender now so you can enjoy my kisses today. Wang Feng almost burst out laughing after hearing this. Then he calmly said, as soon as he finished speaking, accompanied by a chill Yaya had already arrived in front of everyone. Her clear and serene face was enough to make the three fools drool as soon as the words fell, accompanied by a cold aura. Yaya had already arrived in front of everyone. Her clear and serene face made the three fools drool. But Qinxing was different. He was already trembling with anger, his pupils filled with bloodshot veins. In this world, it's absolutely unacceptable for anyone to be more beautiful than this young master. You all quickly capture this girl. This young master will make sure she meets a tragic end. Sancho, when you immediately took action as the main attacker, still not forgetting to tease her before attacking. Beautiful lady, it's your lucky day to fall into the hands of our Sancho from Lingyun sect. If I were to make a move, you would probably only beg for mercy and not for death. At this moment, Wang Feng was sweating for them. My goodness, as the sect master, even I wouldn't dare to tease Yao Yu. I wouldn't even dare to imagine how miserable their fate will be. Yao Yu slowly placed her fingers on the cheek of one of them. Then gently swiped, followed by a graceful turn. Sancho instantly turned into an ice sculpture. This move also frightened Qinxing. Before he could say much, Yao Yu had already teleported in front of Qinxing and pointed her finger at his cheek. Unexpectedly, just as he was about to freeze to death, Little He reached out and intercepted Yao Yu's attack. This also resulted in his arm being frozen into an ice sculpture. Looking at his expressionless face, Wang Feng was extremely puzzled at this moment. Yao Yu quickly withdrew her sword-like spiritual power. He's insulting you like this. Are you still going to save him? At this moment, Qinxing, who was sitting on the ground, laughed heartily. Little He, as long as you kill them, this young master will reward you with 10 kisses. As soon as he finished speaking, a hand suddenly grabbed his neck firmly. Then he was lifted high into the air. At this moment, Qinxing wanted to struggle desperately. Little He, you have guts, daring to treat me like this. However, Little He's eyes were full of killing intent. I intended to keep you until tomorrow, but you insisted on seeking death. To prevent you from dying at someone else's hands, leaving me with lifelong regrets, I took the initiative to act first. Looking at Qinxing lying on the ground, he finally felt relieved. This move also astonished Wang Feng beside him. Only then did he feel relieved. This move also stunned Wang Feng on the side. It seems that this peerless genius is not as simple as I imagined. Clearly, he's a mediocre sect master, but top-notch big shots are all vying to be his disciple. And now he's even being recognized as the reincarnation of a supreme emperor. Just now, Li He directly snapped the neck of the effeminate young master, and Wang Feng, witnessing his dramatic change in temperament, was filled with curiosity. So he quickly switched out of the system and asked why Li He was called a peerless genius. But the system displayed that investigating would cost 1,000 sect points. Though Wang Feng was deeply pained, driven by curiosity, he still hesitated not to click the confirm button. It turns out Li He, originally named Li Chonggong, was a peak competitor for the Supreme Emperor. After an accidental fall, he was supposed to receive a treasure arrow. This led to his transformation into the present Li He. Hearing this, Wang Feng couldn't help but shiver. For a Supreme Emperor contender, one person could annihilate a nation. But since he had such strength in his previous life, why did he endure bullying without fighting back? Informed by the system, Wang Feng learned that Li He did so solely to conceal the secret of his reincarnation. However, anyone who bullied him would not see the sun the next day. At this moment, Wang Feng couldn't help but marvel, thinking that compared to this person, he was just a small fry. Indeed, appearances can be deceiving. Then he inquired about Li He's current cultivation level. After reading the system's introduction, Wang Feng fell into contemplation. He never thought that the previous trickery he played on Fatty could actually be accomplished by someone. Once he reached the peak of the Supreme Emperor. And now his aptitude had surged again, presumably his future prospects were limitless. It's no wonder he was recognized by the system as a peerless genius. Surely, there's no place for you here anymore. Why not come with me? Our sect will surely protect you thoroughly. But Li Hei's eyes were full of disdain. You look just like Ikuan, clearly a useless pretty boy. What qualifications do you have to recruit me? Wang Feng when you didn't get angry but instead appeared extremely calm. Indeed, you're just a little brat, but just because I know your background. Li Chunggong, upon hearing these 3 words, Li Hei immediately fell into contemplation. Throughout the Starlight Mountains, there are no Xian Wang mirror experts. Yet now, such experts are willing to become subordinates to this person. Moreover, it seems he holds no gratitude toward me. It's better to first probe the situation. If things don't seem right, then I'll use my trump cards. Thinking this, Li Hei imprinted Wang Feng's invitation. However, at this moment, a deep voice echoed throughout the entire square. Who dares to harm my beloved son, Chen Feng? After a moment, he, trembling all over, walked towards his deceased son. Looking at the cold body on the ground, Chen Feng burst into tears instantly. Then he immediately glared at Yao Yu beside him. The 3 guards I sent to protect Shiner, I presume you're the one who killed them? After receiving confirmation from Yao Yu, he roared as if he had gone mad. In that case, my son must have been killed by you too. In that case, you won't be allowed to leave Ling Yun's sect. At this remark, the elders nearby couldn't help but lament repeatedly. Such a peerless beauty died like this, it's really too much of a pity. Seeing this, Li Hei was about to speak, but was stopped by Wang Feng beside him. What? Are you still thinking of trading one life for another? And just a second ago, Chen Feng, who was still immersed in grief for his son, was now flirting with Yao Yu. But as long as you give birth to a son for me again, wouldn't that count as one life for another? Seeing this, Wang Feng couldn't help but feel disgusted. Goodness, I almost thought he cherished his son like his own life, but turns out he's just a shameless old lecher. So he instructed Yao Yu, since he's so eager to see his beloved son, then fulfill his wish. Just as he finished speaking, Yao Yu slowly approached Chen Feng. In her blue eyes, there was boundless killing intent. This peerless beauty with the 5-hat fist was now openly flirted with by an old lecher, even uttering arrogant words asking her to give birth to a fat son for him. But how could Yao Yu indulge him? She simply walked slowly towards Chen Feng, her eyes filled with boundless killing intent. Just as she was about to start a fight, Chen Feng patted his chest. Actually, my sect also values beauty. In order to maintain harmony, how about I take the hit? If the beauty can dodge it, then I'll consider myself dead for nothing. But if she can't dodge it, then she stays to give birth to a fat son for me. Yao Yu remained silent, just staring at Chen Feng intently. Seeing the woman silent, he shamelessly said, since the beauty doesn't object, then I'll take it as you've agreed. Speak up, just as countless white energies instantly converged in his palm, then leaped into the air in an instant. He shouted loudly, Skyling Palm. Facing the huge palm print that came crashing down, Yao Yu surprisingly showed no intention to dodge. And when the palm print touched her, it didn't cause any substantial harm that trapped her in midair. After a few seconds, a drop of blood fell from the sky, then instantly turned into countless red needle lights. Swiftly shooting towards Yao Yu, finally only a huge palm print remained on the square. The Ling Yun sect elders then understood that the sect master's previous actions were all to deceive the opponent in order to deliver a fatal blow. But this was too wasteful, at least there should have been some enjoyment first. But Chen Feng expressed, even if you're an unparalleled beauty, if you dare to kill me, then death is your only fate. Li Hei was very puzzled on the side and even turned to Wang Feng for clarification. You actually watched him get killed? You might have some misunderstanding about Yao Yu's strength. And which eye of yours saw him die? And at this moment, a body fell from the sky. The elders panicked at the sight. Master, look quick. Someone from our Ling Yun sect has fallen from the sky. Upon hearing this, the large man Zhu kept muttering to himself about Qin Feng's forehead. Before he could react, Yao Yu had already appeared above him. Just when you attacked, I dodged it. With that said, she leaped from the high platform. Blue spiritual energy surrounded her palm. Now with this palm, let's see if you can dodge it. As Chen Feng watched the approaching woman, though somewhat panicked, he still formed a palm to defend. Our sect won't believe you're really that strong. And just as the 2 palms touched, a wall of ice appeared in front of Chen Feng. And just at the moment of contact between the 2 palms, a wall of ice appeared in front of Chen Feng. In an instant, countless ice spikes formed on the ice wall, directly stabbing towards him. In just 2 seconds, Chen Feng turned into a hedgehog, finally able to see his son as he wished. This peerless figure from the Xianhuang sect was now openly flirted with by an entering phase old man, even uttering arrogant words asking her to become his concubine. This thoroughly enraged Yao Yu. With just one blow, she turned the old man into a hedgehog. Looking at the sinister woman before him, the elders of the Ling Yun sect trembled in fear on the side. They never thought that a pinnacle entering phase expert would be so powerless before this woman. With the sect leader dead now and the sect's future uncertain just when they didn't know what to do, Wang Feng calmly declared, "In the name of the sect leader of the godly immortal sect, I hereby declare that the Lingyun sect no longer exists. You may disband right here." With that, he left with Yu. Watching the two figures gradually disappear, Elder Wang finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then he immediately put on another face. "Don't think that dropping a few harsh words will cause the Lingyun sect to disband. Since both the sect leader and the deputy sect leader are dead now, for the sake of the sect's continuation, it seems we need to quickly select the next sect leader." But Elder Su, trembling, said there will be no successor to the Lingyun sect. There was a look of panic on his face. Just as he finished speaking, a huge chunk of ice rushed towards the sect's main hall at high speed. There was a loud bang, and the entire sect was reduced to countless debris. Elder Wang looked at the scene before him, his heart instantly turning to ashes. Who would have thought that at this moment, a loud voice echoed through the square, "Where's Qin Feng?" Elder Wang was instantly frightened, thinking for a moment that the Star of Doom had returned. But it turned out to be Lord Changlin. How could that Star of Ill Omen, having just killed Qin Feng, come back to find him again? But just as he was pondering this, Changling Ho had already arrived before him and loudly asked, "Are you Qin Feng?" Looking at the fierce stranger before him, Elder Wang's speech became stuttered. "And no, I'm not. Our sect master is already dead." At this point, Changling Ho also stated his intention. "I am Changling Ho of the Empire of Day. Do you know who killed my son, Ling Yun-yi?" Upon hearing that his son had been killed, Elder Wang was also left speechless with shock. Who had such audacity to attack the son of a nobleman of a country? After some contemplation, he decided to shift the blame elsewhere. Returning to Ho Yi, "I know who killed your son." After hearing this statement, Changling Ho's eyes were bloodshot. "In fact, the person who killed young Lord Ling is also the murderer of our sect master. He's here." Wang Feng, who usually talks big, now welcomed another top-tier figure, the sword devil Yan Shisan. "He's here." While just as Ling Yun's zone was destroyed, Yan Shisan instantly appeared before Wang Feng. Without a word, he struck. "Truly awe-inspiring, master." Just 2 hours later, after annihilating Ling Yun's zone, he returned in triumph. If this were modern times, even a big shot like Tang Jingjing's manager would be impressed. At the same time, Li He also landed smoothly. Once again, Elder Wang extended an invitation. "What do you think? Are you willing to join our immortal sect?" However, upon seeing the fate of the sect, Li He immediately hesitated. Even if he was the peak great demon in his previous life, the sect he created dared not even claim the title of immortal. Even if you were the pinnacle figure, the supreme emperor, in your past life, the sect you founded dare not call itself divine. Yet these small sects in this godforsaken place dare to use such names, simply ignorant. Thinking of this, he looked disdainful. Just to fulfill your whim, your ambition to rise above all. It's simply a waste of time. Hearing this, the great demon nearby immediately became unhappy and he quickly grabbed Li He by the neck. There was a murderous intent between the two demons. This demon advises you to speak respectfully to the sect leader. However, Wang Feng didn't get angry. Instead, he continued to speak calmly and calmly. "Even if you were the supreme emperor, the pinnacle expert in your past life, at this moment you are nothing but a rookie in the nascent realm. If you were to start a fight here, you wouldn't gain any advantage." As soon as he heard that it was such a strong figure, the great demon quickly stepped aside. "Oh my god, this pretty boy is actually a reincarnation of a big shot. Even in my prime, faced with such an existence, I would have had no resistance whatsoever." Seeing that he remained steadfast, Wang Feng took out the token of the little world, preparing to take him to see the true destiny of the sect, hoping he would change his mind. As the entrance to the secret realm opened, the huge sect of the immortal sect appeared before them. At this moment, Li He was also very shocked. Although the Supreme Emperor's strong can create a small world, but even in his past life, he had never seen such a large and perfect small world. "I really want to see what mysteries lie within this sect." As soon as he entered the main hall, Wang Feng continued, "I know you possess a treasure, but you're not qualified to enter my view just yet. I have only one purpose for you, and that is to join my immortal sect." But Li He didn't seem to change his mind. "What can you do if I don't join?" With a snap of Wang Feng's fingers, Night Solitary City and Westgate Drifting Snow appeared. Seeing two more Xian Wang figures before him, Li He suddenly found it interesting. "How interesting, trying to outnumber me to force me to join. Relying on that sword treasure as a trump card, even if 3 Xian Wang mirror experts join forces, I can still walk away unscathed." Just as Wang Feng was about to say something, his words were interrupted by the sound of a sword scraping the ground. Suddenly, a terrifying pressure swept through the entire hall. A man dressed in a black robe appeared before everyone. What if there were 4 Xianhuang mirror experts? With that said, he respectfully approached Wang Feng. I, Yin Shisan, pay respects to the sect master. It turned out that this person was the newly emerged top figure Yin Shisan, who possessed peak Xianhuang mirror strength. Legend has it that he is the first-rate swordsman not yet seen by the wind demon belonging to a certain young master. His lifelong wish is to compete with Sword Emperor Xia Xiaofeng. Yen Shisan's lifelong masterpiece is the 13 Deadly Swords. After that, not only did he create the 14th variation during his battle with Xia Xiaofeng, he also created the 15th sword representing destruction and death. He could have killed Xia Xiaofeng with the 15th sword, but he found that this sword brought only destruction and death. So, in order to completely destroy this terrifying sword, he chose to cut his own throat. Upon seeing Yen Shisan again, Li He was also left speechless with shock. But just a few seconds later, he mocked Wang Feng again. As a sect master, you only have Xianhuang mirror cultivation. Do you really deserve to be the sect master? Who would have thought that right after he finished speaking? Yen Shisan's long sword was already hovering at his throat. It seems that the 13 deadly swords need to be relaunched. But Wang Feng immediately stopped him. Elder Yin, please calm down. Just peak Xianhuang mirror cultivation? As long as our sect wants, we can have it anytime. Then he checked the sect points he possessed. Looking at the numbers in front of him, Wang Feng couldn't help but sigh. I didn't expect to have 40,000 sect points so quickly. Now I can really show off. He's here. Wang Feng is about to start showing off. In an instant, he stepped into the peak of Xianhuang. With just one finger, even the Night Lonely City mirror also successfully advanced to the peak of Xianhuang. And just now, even with the long sword hanging at his throat, Li He remained unfazed. Even went as far as to mock Wang Feng with words. As a sect master, you only have the cultivation of the Xianhuang mirror. Are you really qualified to be the sect master? But Wang Feng, after listening, remained extremely calm. He even instructed Yen Shisan to sheath his sword. Then, with a disdainful look, he glanced at Li He. Isn't it just the peak cultivation of the Xianhuang mirror? As long as I want, I can enter with just a snap of my fingers. After inspecting the existing sects, he immediately exchanged for a 10 consecutive draw, accompanied by the words Elemental Spirit Activation. Countless reward-carrying light balls surrounded Wang Feng. Then he bestowed 1/30th of Yen Shisan's cultivation upon himself. A majestic golden light burst forth and surged into Wang Feng's body in an instant, and he successfully stepped into the peak of the Xianhuang mirror. At this moment, Li He was shocked beyond measure, his mind filled with doubts. Had he been hiding his cultivation all along? Or did he really ascend to the peak of the Xianhuang mirror in an instant? Thinking of this, sweat beads the size of soybeans kept dripping. Just as he was dazed, Wang Feng proudly extended his right hand and asked, I accidentally reached the peak of the Xianhuang mirror. I wonder if you have anything to say now? However, Li He still had a sharp tongue. After all, he had once stood at the peak. How could he so easily surrender? Even if the immortal sect has 4 Xianhuang mirror experts, they still can't force me to submit. At most, they can only fight me to the death. What they can do is engage in a life-and-death struggle with me. At most, they can only fight me to the death. Momo. You've missed 1 point. Hearing this, Li He was also surprised. How could he cross that red ditch? Wang Feng then smugly waved his hand. Though not now, it'll be soon. Have you ever heard of remote cultivation? Today, I'll let you see clearly. Are you perhaps drunk on the path of self-praise? All nonsense. Even if I had peak cultivation of the Xian Emperor mirror in my past life, I couldn't do what you're saying, remote cultivation. Wang Feng, on the side, was also helpless. I didn't want to show off, but now I have to. Just because you can't do it with peak Xian Emperor mirror doesn't mean I can't do it with the Xianhuang mirror. Open your eyes wide and watch carefully. Having said that, he quickly checked Yi Guqing's forehead and instructed the system to bestow all other cultivations onto Yi Guqing. In an instant, golden light appeared on Yi Guqing's forehead, followed by countless golden rays pouring in. Finally, Yi Guqing also successfully entered the realm of Xianhuang. Seeing his lifelong enemy successfully promoted, Shiman Piashue's face showed a hint of joy. Thanks to the sect master's grace, I can now duel with him freely again. But Li He on the side was extremely uneasy. Look, he actually helped this elder Yi to ascend to the Xianhuang mirror. And now, facing 4 Xianhuang experts plus the sect master in front of him, he has absolutely no chance of winning. Even if he wanted to fight to the death, he might not be able to do it. But Wang Feng didn't bother him. Have you realized the situation now? Join my immortal sect. I can not only restore you to your peak, but even surpass your previous self. That's it. Li Hei didn't hesitate to agree. I'll join, but let's make it clear, I'm only joining for 10 years. Once the time is up, I'll leave. And you can't disclose the treasures on me. The treasures he had, Wang Feng naturally didn't care about. I'm granted by the sect master. I can now accept this Xian Emperor reincarnation and gain system rewards. Seeing Wang Feng's agreement, Li Hei immediately complied and handed over all his possessions. And he also received quite a generous reward for it. Looking at the abundant items in front of him, Wang Feng couldn't help but sigh. It's really worth it taking the risk with the Xian Emperor reincarnation. This reward truly validates the old saying, high risk, high return. And at this moment, the cannon fodder Chongling monkey was also on his way. Here he comes. Just after Wang Feng subdued Li Hei, a new character is about to enter the scene. At first glance, he looks like a weak scholar, but he's actually quite formidable. Even facing the hungry black bear, he remained unfazed and even joked about it. Didn't expect the heavens to favor me. Just when I stopped here, I actually stumbled upon food. Looking at the amount, it's enough for a good meal. But just as the black bear pounced on him, he suddenly noticed that the sky seemed to be covered by something dark. So he quickly opened his eyes to check, only to find a dense rain of arrows coming towards him. With a loud bang, the bear, struck by arrows, fell to the ground. It turns out all this was done by Chongling Jun. Seeing the mess on the ground, Chongling Monkey was about to go down to collect the bodies, but unexpectedly the bear's body kept moving. Then, miraculously, it stood up. It turns out the bear had long gone cold. It was Moyen Fei who had propped it up. At this moment, he calmly brushed off the dust from his body, but the Pishio under Chongling Monkey was unhappy. It directly conjured up the Samadhi true fire in its mouth and then sprayed it towards Moyen Fei. But he looked timid, then slowly drew the long sword from his hand. Then, with a gentle wave, only the bear's paw flew out. In the passionate collision of the two, a delicious barbecue was made. Moyen Fei nibbled on it, his mouth still provoking the Chongling Monkey. Thank you, bro. Do you want a bite too? The Chongling Monkey directly slapped the Pishio on the head, taking advantage of the momentum to leap up. Just take it as me rewarding you with a beheading meal. You see, his right hand was surrounded by golden spiritual energy. In moments, a fist the size of a sandbag condensed, directly aiming at Mu Yunfei. It was only at this moment that he realized something was wrong. He immediately drew his long sword. Seeing the opponent trying to overpower him, he also didn't intend to hold back. He swung his golden red sword to block. But just as the two clashed, the long sword kept compressing until only a hilt remained. Mu Yunfei was also blasted into the ground. After a moment, he stood up trembling. He casually threw away the long sword in his hand. Even facing such a formidable opponent, he remained completely calm. Fortunately, the roast he had just eaten didn't come out, otherwise, it would have been a double loss. Fortunately, the barbecue he just ate didn't come out. Otherwise, it would really be losing both the bear's paw and the soldiers. At this point, the Marquis of Changling did not make another move. Instead, he turned his head to look toward Elder Yun on the side. He, young as he was, possessed the strength of a marquis or king and appeared in the Starlight Mountains. Presumably, he must be Wang Feng of the Immortal Sect. But to everyone's surprise, Elder Wang quickly shook his head in denial. I would recognize Wang Feng even if he turned to ashes, but he's not him. Upon hearing this, Mu Yunfei was so Oh no. Wang Zong's thatched cottage has been found by Marquis Chongling, and without hesitation he directly orders Marquis Chong to attack it. In an instant, a countless rain of arrows shoots towards the cottage. But just as the arrows are about to pierce through the cottage, the great demon blocks them with a toilet plunger. Just now, Marquis Chongling mistakenly took Mu Yunfei's fog for Wang Feng when he just arrived at the Yao Sun Mountains and gave him a beating. After learning the truth, he thought there might be some trick up his sleeve, but the next moment he was stepped on by the Pishio. Hey, old man, I really am not Wang Feng. Why won't you just let me go? But the Marquis of the Alcohol Battlefield naturally wouldn't believe it. Although you're not Wang Feng who killed my eldest son, it doesn't rule out that you're his disciple. Hearing this, he was also taken aback. Big drops of sweat kept dripping from Dudu's forehead. He couldn't believe that within the Yao Sun Empire, someone dared to kill the Marquis of Chongling's son. But just as he was lost in thought, Marquis Chongling continued to press him. Come on, spit it out. Who are you and where are you from? Seeing him remain silent for a long time, Marquis Chongling continued to inquire. This area is close to the three great empires. If you don't reveal your identity, could it be that you're not from the Yao Sun Empire? Mu Yunfei's pupils instantly shook when he heard this. Seeing that he had been guessed, he began to confess honestly. I'm actually a practitioner of the God Ind Empire. I just happened to come here for training. You dare to come to the Yao Sun Empire for training? You've got some guts. Why are you afraid of being killed by strong individuals here? Hearing this, Mu Yunfei burst into laughter. What's there to fear? If there's no risk in training, how can one grow? Little did he know that as soon as he finished speaking, with a loud noise, everyone arrived in front of the immortal sect's gate. Looking at the thatched cottage in front of him, Mu Yunfei's face was filled with disappointment. He thought that the immortal sect, which dared to provoke Marquis Chongling, would be some hermit sect. Perhaps they could even help him escape from this predicament. But the result was just a broken thatched cottage. At this moment, the Chongling army had all picked up their arrows. With a command from Marquis Chongling, a rain of arrows whistled towards the cottage. At the same time, the great demon of the greedy gate leaped up and quickly pulled out a large iron rod from the void. Then, standing straight on top of the cottage, he looked at the crowd not far away with a contented expression. I was just getting bored. Then a bunch of toys showed up. After saying this, he suspended the iron rod in the air. In an instant, a red barrier appeared before him, unsurprisingly blocking all the attacks. This scared the Chongling army. Oh my, what's that? It looks like a cockroach, but how can it have such incredible power? Hearing this, the great demon was infuriated. You're the cockroaches. Your whole family are cockroaches. With that, he swung the iron rod. It smashed directly towards the Chongling army. Accompanied by waves of screams, only Marquis Chongling remained suspended in midair. What awaited him was a massive iron rod. And the furious roar of the great demon. Who dares to trespass my immortal seat? Just now, Marquis Chongling looked at the iron rod filled with murderous intent before him. And did his huge sweat drops kept falling? Yes, this is the hanging demon rod. Could it be that you're the one sealed by His Majesty back then? The hanging demon? Beside him, Mu Yunfei was also astonished. She didn't expect that the man in front of her, like a cockroach, was actually the former tyrant who ravaged the Yao Sun Empire. If it weren't for being sealed by many strong individuals back then, I'm afraid the Yao Sun Empire would have ceased to exist long ago. Now he could escape from the Valley of Fallen Gods. Could it also be the handiwork of that immortal sect Wang Feng? Never did they expect that a mere thatched cottage would hide such a peerless expert. Although Marquis Chongling was curious about how he escaped, it wasn't necessary to reveal it now as he came today for vengeance for his eldest son. So he prepared to speak and test him. Wang Feng of the immortal sect helped my son transcend. As long as you don't interfere with my revenge, I'll overlook what I've never seen from you today. However, the great demon laughed loudly. What you said is good, but I wonder if you'll agree to the big stick in my hand. Seeing that today couldn't end peacefully, Marquis Chongling also stopped holding back. If that's the case, then I'll help you transcend first today and then go find that Wang Feng. But the great demon wasn't flustered at all. He swung the stick backhandedly. Do you think you can kill me just by talking? Unexpectedly, the swung demon rod was firmly bitten by Pai Xiu. Then he quickly stabbed the Samadhi true object. Soon, the true fire spread throughout the body of the demon rod. But just as it was about to touch the great demon, the head of the rod suddenly enlarged. Faced with such a huge object, Pai Xiu couldn't bear it and quickly let go. Marquis Chongling leaped into the air in an arrow shape with golden armor covering his hands, raised his fists and rushed towards the great demon. But the great demon kicked the demon rod. With a bang, the demon rod flew towards Marquis Chongling's face. But unexpectedly, under the burning of true fire, he not only wasn't injured but his strength also increased. You're quite something. Thanks for the flames you sent. I'll return the favor. With that, he threw another punch. But the great demon was naturally not flustered. He picked up the demon rod and rushed up. Just as the two collided, all the bell armor attached to Marquis Chongling's body was knocked off. The terrifying aftermath also sent Mu Yunfei flying hundreds of yards away. Obviously, the great demon had the upper hand. It seems that the answer of the hanging demon rod is a resounding one. At this moment, Marquis Chongling laughed. The great demon's eyes suddenly became fierce. Are you dumbstruck by the demon rod? You're nearly suffocated and still laughing here. I'm laughing because although you escaped from the Valley of Fallen Gods, your cultivation has plummeted from the peak of the mysterious mirror to the peak of the king's mirror. This statement amused the great demon. Even if I'm now at the king's cultivation, it's enough to crush you. But just as the great demon was speaking, Pai Xiu's mouth suddenly ignited with raging flames, then spewed towards Marquis Chongling. This move surprised even the great demon. What kind of trick are you guys playing? Even if you can't win, there's no need to self-immolate, right? But before he finished speaking, Marquis Chongling, along with the rolling flames, transformed into a god of war, reborn from the flames. You're right. My cultivation is indeed only at the mid-level of the king's realm. But my Qilin avatar is far from that. If I were to be incinerated by the flames, I wouldn't die. Instead, I would be reborn from the flames, forming the Qilin avatar. This turned out to be their combined strategy with Pai Xiao and also his last resort. Seeing Marquis Chongling deeply influenced by the flames, the great demon became flustered. Large beads of sweat kept dripping from his forehead. He couldn't believe it. The Marquis Chongling, who was only at the mid-level of the king's realm, had advanced to the early stage of the mysterious mirror. But just as he was fantasizing, he saw Marquis Chongling already coming towards him. Watching him swiftly approach, the great demon evidently lost his previous arrogance. A hint of panic appeared in his expression. As his beastly body fell, the originally flat emperor's resting place was stomped into a huge hole. When the smoke cleared, the great demon could only support himself desperately with the demon rod. At this moment, he couldn't help but sigh. This guy not only grew in body size and strength several times over, but his speed also increased several levels. And the two remaining venomous sprouts beside him, seeing the great demon being completely powerless to retaliate, applauded continuously. Indeed, it's the Marquis Qilin avatar. I didn't expect that even the hanging demon and that weird stick could be easily suppressed. This cockroach is probably on its last legs. But as soon as they finished speaking, the great demon made a magnificent turn and then forcefully kicked the demon rod. Serve me as I wish. Instantly, the demon rod swelled up, directly sending Marquis Chongling flying. Finally, he stood on the emperor's resting place. Naturally, the great demon didn't give him a chance to catch his breath. He lifted the demon rod high and smashed it towards Marquis Chongling's face. With just one blow, he smashed the emperor to pieces. Qi Yuba was also trembling with fear, seeing the cannon fodders trembling. But at this moment, the great demon still looked worried because he knew that with just this one strike, it would be difficult to inflict substantial damage on Marquis Chongling. As he expected, Marquis Chongling appeared before him unscathed, glaring at him disdainfully as if mocking his incompetence. And at this moment, the great demon seemed powerless. Faced with the gap in cultivation, he could only choose to create distance first and then look for opportunities. But Marquis Chongling wasn't prepared to give him a chance. He curled his body and, after a moment, turned into a streak of light heading straight for the great demon. In an instant, he was in front of him before he could react, and delivered a heavy elbow strike that sent him flying. Then came a punch, 2 punches, 3 punches, each one hitting him squarely in the face. With the final punch landing, the great demon was sent flying hundreds of yards away, finally stopped by a dirt wall. At this moment, despair filled his eyes. He had barely escaped from the Valley of Fallen Gods. Was he going to perish here today? Meanwhile, Marquis Chongling had raised 2 huge stones, preparing to turn him into minced meat. The great demon cried out in despair. This time, I'm really going to be squashed like a cockroach. But before he could finish speaking, Marquis Chongling merged the 2 huge stones. With this powerful impact, was the great demon about to be forced out of the game? Here it comes. Yi Gucheng once again brought epic reinforcement. Not only did he rescue the great demon from danger, but he also punished the heavens, the earth, and the people with 3 swords, easily killing Marquis Chongling, who had the Qilin avatar. Just now, the 2 huge stones instantly merged, accompanied by a violent explosion. Countless rubble fell to the ground, but afterward, Marquis Chongling was shocked. He hadn't expected that the great demon, who should have been crushed into pulp, would miraculously disappear. Just as he was puzzled, the great demon, suspended in the air, proudly cleared his throat. Don't stand there dumbfounded. Didn't expect this demon to still be alive, huh? Marquis Chongling looked over, his eyes seemingly filled with wariness. I didn't expect the immortal sect to hide such a formidable expert. This person was none other than Yi Gucheng, who had ascended to the mysterious mirror. He stood on the rooftop with a flying rainbow sword in hand, radiating the aura of a saint. Then he moved gracefully through the air. The long sword immediately returned to its sheath while the spiritual power attached to the great demon dissipated. Seeing this scene, Mu Yunfei, hiding behind the huge stone, broke out in a cold sweat, thinking that one hanging demon wasn't enough. And now another even stronger expert had appeared. Who exactly was this immortal sect? Why hadn't I heard of the sect during my time in the Yao Sun Empire? As he was pondering, on the other side, Yi Gucheng was praising the great demon. The sect master is very satisfied with your performance. Rest aside for now. When the old master comes to deal with you, The great demon quickly pointed to the man behind him. Look, it's this guy. He claims to be Marquis Chongling. And as soon as we met, he said he wanted to deliver the sect master. Old Ye's eyes instantly filled with killing intent. The flying rainbow sword once again emerged, and a majestic spiritual energy burst forth from him. Meanwhile, the remaining soldiers of Chongling immediately began to dance in the air. But as a seasoned warrior of the battlefield, Marquis Chongling wouldn't surrender without a fight. He dug his hooves into the ground and charged directly at Yi Gucheng. But Yi Gucheng quickly suspended the flying rainbow sword in the air. All the Chongling soldiers gathered at the tip of the sword. With a roar, the sword chi flew towards Marquis Chongling's face. Faced with such a powerful sword move, he could only defend passively. After blocking the strike, he didn't dare to slack off. He charged straight towards Yi Gucheng, and the two of them rose into the air. After exchanging blows for a few moves, Yi Gucheng attacked again. As the yellow spiritual energy turned blue, the ground beneath Marquis Chongling's feet was instantly torn apart, leaving behind a huge crater. Then, with one person and one sword, he pushed the boulders into the air. At the same time, the great demon finally noticed Mu Yunfei, who was tightly bound by the enemy. Seeing him bound, he realized there must be a plan, so he prepared to save his life. But as the rainbow light struck again, the boulder was sent straight toward Marquis Chongling. This move was the heavenly sword from the earth, a strike combining the power of heaven and earth. Despite bearing such a heavy blow, Marquis Chongling, driven by vengeance, struggled to get up. But he was like a bamboo in the wind, swaying unsteadily. At this moment, Yi Gucheng wouldn't give him a chance. He was suspended in the air, surrounded by violent thunderous energy, which was his final sword. The heavenly sword, capable of commanding the heavens. Seeing this world-shattering strike, Marquis Chongling's eyes were filled with fear and regret. As Yi Gucheng swung with all his might, the powerful sword energy mixed with thunderous force engulfed him in an instant. The violent spiritual power was tearing his body apart. But as a general who had once served his country, what wrong had he done as a father? The Marquis of Chongling, who was influential, but his son tragically died at the hands of others. To avenge this blood feud, even in the face of sword immortal Yi Gucheng, he remains fearless. After withstanding his unparalleled 3 swords, he undergoes a second transformation just now. As the heavenly sword of Yi Gucheng falls, infused with the power of heavenly thunder, instantly engulfing him inside. Seeing the enormous blue pillar of light before him, the great demon wears a smug expression. He didn't expect the sect master to have such skills. In just a few days, Elder Ye's strength has increased significantly. At this moment, Mu Yunfei curiously asks, how strong is Elder Yi you mentioned in the immortal sect? The great demon then says, in fact, Elder Yi is considered the weakest among the elders. Hearing this, Mu Yunfei sweats profusely on his forehead. Thinking that even with 3 swords, he's still the weakest among the Marquis of Chongling, who was at the Xian Wang Mirror's initial stage. Fortunately, the place where the Marquis of Chongling caught me is the immortal sect. However, just as he was lost in thought, he suddenly sees the Marquis of Chongling within the thunder curtain, raising his broken right hand high and roaring loudly. Marquis Chong formed the Qilin formation. The generals and soldiers quickly obey the order and channel their energy into their palms. Then orderly arranged themselves into a long dragon, finally transferring all the spiritual energy to the person in front. Just as everything is ready, suddenly the Pishu leaps up and instantly appears in front of everyone. With the continuous infusion of spiritual energy, their bodies also dissipate continuously. Perhaps this is what's meant by royal orders are as weighty as mountains. At this moment, the Pishu quickly opens its huge mouth, igniting roaring flames within it, then shoots towards Marquis Chang. After absorbing this energy, its body once again ignites raging flames. Unlike before, this time the fire has turned blood red. Then it emits a roar and swings a heavy fist towards Leimu. Under this blow, Leimu is almost instantly blown away. This scene greatly shocks the great demon. He didn't expect Marquis Chong to still have a hidden move, and this time his cultivation has skyrocketed again. Seeing the situation turn unfavorable, the great demon quickly pulls out his magic rod and strikes towards the Pishu on the ground because he knows that to win, he must first kill it. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Marquis Chang's iron fist is almost at the face of Nightlone City. Unexpectedly, Marquis Chang grabs the sword sheath and shouts loudly, "You want to hurt me with just a sword sheath?" Little does he know, Nightlone City has long come behind him and the flying honk sword has pierced through his body. but unexpectedly Marquis Chang bursts into laughter. He quickly grips the flying Hong sword tightly. In the end, you fell for my trick. Before he finishes, countless flames instantly attack Night Lone City. At this critical moment, snowflakes unexpectedly drift down from the sky. In an instant, Night Lone City becomes an ice sculpture, dodging this attack. At this moment, Marquis Chang's head buzzes because not only Yao Yu has arrived, but also Night Lone City's good friend, Simon Paoshue, and the person he fought with his entire life, whom he never dared to harm. You're probably seeking death.